Hello, everybody. Welcome to launch week for our Anatomy of Abundance book, a holistic guide to creating prosperity in all aspects of life. I am so incredibly excited to introduce you to another one of our amazing expert co-authors. Today, I get to introduce you to Miss Sunny De Leon. Sunny, please introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about your magic in the world.
Yes, thank you so much. I am Sunny De Leon. I use she, they pronouns. You can also call me Sunny D because it's fun. Um, so my magic in the world, I'm coming from a mental health background, a lot of relational work, and so I recently started a new business called the Sunny D Coalition, and it's meant to just really be super collaborative and really bring powerhouses together. My specialization is like I'm great at coaching, right? Great at just seeing truth, naming the truth, telling people the thing, and then really working on deep and rapid transformations. And so right now I'm focusing most of my work on working with entrepreneurs to really hone in on like three key pillars, which is what I call my CPR framework. And so it's confidence, pleasure, and relationships, right? I have found that in most of my work with clients, yeah, those are the three things that continue coming up in terms of what it means to transform their lives.
I love that. Oh my goodness. And so Sunny and I are actually in a business network together. That's how we met. But we didn't get an opportunity to meet in person until we started this book project, for which I'm the producer, Patrina Wisdom, and also one of the authors. And when we met in person, it was like soul sister right away, like
Yes.
with the soul recognition. I absolutely loved your spirit and everything about you. And then as you started to write your chapter, I was like, this girl is a powerhouse. Okay. So tell everybody a little bit. Well, first off, let's understand your chapter. What
Mhm.
chapter did you write? And then you can share a little bit about that chapter as well.
Yeah. So my chapter fell under the embodiment kind of section. And I really love that because I'm very much about embodying the unapologetic self love. Right. And so my chapter is called Money is Non-monogamous, which I had so much fun with. Just because for me, one, it's so important to raise awareness to just different relationship structures and being someone who has practiced non monogamy for over a decade at this point. It's something that I've taught other people about and like really freeing people from the structures that don't work for them, right? And so in my chapter, I really kind of broke down the blueprint of what relationships are. So bringing an attachment theory, right, from my mental health background, from my relational background. And then I did a lot of tying in my story into what it meant for me to kind of get to the journey of healing my relationship to money from a really vulnerable place, just because what I've learned in my experience of working with clients, right, especially as a therapist, is that the more real I am, the more people can release their shame and their kind of like transformations. And so, in kind of naming it Money is Non Monogamous, I really phrased it from this place of like, what if money were your partner, right? And like the idea that healing your relationship with money can be fun, right? That it could be fun. And like for some people, I'm like, maybe you don't feel great about your partnerships. Maybe for you, you feel better about like how you show up in your relationship with your bestie, right? And all of that. But for me, it's like, anytime I'm helping some clients or I'm helping clients through their journey, pleasure is something that I feel this need to center, right? And so I'm like, money brings so much shame for people. It brings so much of like, oh, we don't talk about that. Oh, I feel so bad with money. And so I'm like, treat it like a person, have fun with it, make it sexy, make it fun, make it just like something that you can enjoy because we're always in relationships, right? And so if you really look at money as a relationship, it might be a lot easier to approach it than seeing it as like this like really scary thing. Like, so I don't do the numbers part. Like I always tell people, I'm like, see your financial advisor for that shit, right? But like you can really work with someone on those things and still have a lot of shame around the relationship and the behaviors you do. And so the chapter really comes into like it's unapologetic self-love to really like work on healing this relationship with money because at the end of the day, it's healing the relationship with yourself, right? It's about feeling worthy and really saying like I'm worth healing this relationship and I get to have fun with it. It doesn't have to be like scary and boring and all of that. So, yeah, had so much fun.
Yeah, and I love it because we are the most important and the longest relationship that we have. And I don't think people really understand how much how we treat ourselves and how you do anything is how you do everything. Some
Mhm.
of the issues and the self-talk that we have with ourselves then spills over into our relationships. And one of the areas people don't think about is how those relationships affect money. So what I love about your chapter so much is obviously it's fun and it's, from a very like sexy, fun point of view, which are some of
Mhm.
my core values. But then you also come with this very solid foundation based in psychology and,
Yeah.
from your mental health background. So that is one of the things about this book, everyone, is that the Anatomy of Abundance book is a roadmap for creating holistic abundance in your life. And that's the higher and lower laws that we're bringing to guide your inner work, but also to help you take those action steps necessary to create profound change and transformation in your life. So you're not just going to get the fluff, you're going to get the very grounded, data-based how-tos in this book. So with that said, I'd love for you to just share the title of your chapter again and a little snippet, share with everybody a little snippet so that they get super excited to go press that button and buy the book on Amazon.
Yes. Okay, so the chapter is called Money is Non-monogamous, and I really start off with just like that very like, let's look at it right away. Let's look at it as like, what if money was your partner? Like what kind of relationship are you in, right? Are you in this loving relationship with it? Is it kind of like your little side chick, right? Is it just like this kind of relationship that you like talk shit about where you're just like, oh my God, you're never here for me, right? Are you in a toxic relationship with money? Are you just like good? Are you like loving? And so, yeah, after that, I kind of dive into let's talk about why. And so, really, we just start off with that very like coming in hot with just like, what if it was like how would you talk about it, like are you going on sexy vacations, are you just like treating it on the side kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So here's a question I have for you. I know one of the reasons that I was attracted to having you in as a part of the book is because it was very important for me to have representation across the board, different cultures, different backgrounds, different financial, stories, sexual orientation. And so I'd love to find out from you what attracted you to being a part of this project.
Mhm. I mean, from the get-go, you had this like the post that I saw initially about it just caught my eye immediately, right? You had made it very clear that this was a holistic book, right? You wanted all of these different levels of expertise. And as I was exploring my relationship to money, it felt so crucial, the amount of levels of expertise and the range, right? Like it felt so important to be like, yes, because it's the neurology, it's the psychology, it's like the all of it. And then Patrina, when I entered that first meeting where you were like, let me tell you about this mission, oh my God, the way it felt in my body felt so aligned. Everyone was so like committed to the mission. You just were so your short story was like so vulnerable and amazing, right? And then the way you kind of led this kind of call was very much like spirit called me to do this and this is bigger than me. And that's always felt like my work and my mission has always felt bigger than me. And so it felt like, let's just share that weight. Let's all like talk about our expertise without feeling the need to cover all of it. And so it truly felt like we all had each other's backs in that moment and that we were all so aware of what it meant to really show up for everyone without kind of excluding anyone. And so it was just like, the meeting itself was very much like, oh, we all get it. We're all here. Let's all do this. And no one person had to carry the weight of the entire book.
100%. Oh my gosh. And it seems like we've been doing this forever, when in reality, it's only been like like maybe a 3-month process of us
Yes.
collaborating and creating this book. But when you say that, it literally takes me back to the day that we had that call, and I get like a little teary eyed because sometimes when we're downloaded these visions and these callings from spirit, and we don't really have the whole plan, like we have this inspiration and we have this call for something that needs to be done, but we don't really understand the how. And I've never done anything like this. I've never produced a book with other authors. I've written
Mhm.
my own book, Motherhood's Not for Punks, but I had never produced a book where I was bringing in co-authors and where I had this very clear vision of the outcome and the
Mhm.
transformation that we wanted to deliver, but not necessarily how we were going to get there. So I remember just getting off that call and being so full and so lit up and so touched because you all understood the vision and you wanted to be a part of it. So I'm so incredibly grateful to you and to all the authors that said yes to this. And I just know in my gut that this is going to change the lives of so many, I'll say women because that's who we're speaking to.
Mhm.
But in essence, anyone can read this book. And
Yeah.
if they take the book and utilize the tools in the book, they can transform their lives.
Yeah.
So I really want to just dive in since we have a little bit more time.
Mhm.
I would love to find out or have you share just a little bit about your journey and
Mhm.
how you, because it's a very niched type of
Yes. Yes.
work that you're doing. And so how you came to this type of work.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's always been important when I learn something, I'm the kind of person who wants to share that, right? Because what I believe is the minute I feel something that's misaligned with me and that I'm like, oh, does anyone else know this? You're never alone in your thoughts, right? Anytime you're struggling with something, you can 100% trust that someone else out there is struggling with the same thing, right? And so when I started learning about non monogamy, it was like, I mean, over 10 years ago, this language didn't really exist, right? I had one good book that was like, oh, changed my life kind of a thing. But it's only more recently that people are exploring it. And so for me, whenever because I've had to become so familiar with relationship structures and really learn how I was showing up in them, right? Like what parts of me I needed to heal in order to have better relationships, right? Because once you have multiple partnerships, you really can't afford to like not heal your shit, right? You really can't afford to just be like, I'm not going to look at that part of my life, right? And so the more I learned about it, the more important it felt to really teach other people. And especially when I was working as a therapist, I really saw the struggles people were having, right? And again, I don't believe, some people think you're trying to convert everyone. I just believe it's a spectrum, right? There are some people who are inherently monogamous and there are some people who are inherently not. And then there's a bunch of people in between, that are just like, I didn't know that was a thing, or I can go either way, right? And all of those are acceptable. And so for me, it's about, I really want to normalize that people get to redesign their relationships, they get to redesign their lives. And so the more you put information out there of what's available, then people get to start exploring. And so as people kept asking me, like I would see this curiosity of like, wait, you do what? Can you tell me about that? And so I started leaning into it as a therapist. And when I saw that I owned all parts of my identities, it really gave people the freedom to go, I think that's what I need in my life. And so it made it even more important to be like, oh, I keep thinking everyone knows about this because that's the world I've created for myself, but that's not the case. So I need more people to like become aware of these things.
Yes, definitely. And one of the things that I know for myself is the more we give ourselves permission to be fully expressed and to really embrace all parts of ourselves, it actually inspires other people, right? It opens
Yes.
up their mind to know that
Hmm.
that's even a possibility
Hmm.
because we've all
Yes.
been so conditioned. And that really is part of the mission of this book is to shatter this conditioning that we have to
Hmm.
completely unravel it and start rebuilding ourselves from the foundation up based
Yes.
on truth, the truth of who we are,
Yes.
not the
That
bullshit
part.
we've been fed or the
Correct.
expectations that others have of us or who
Hmm.
we've been told to be.
Yeah.
And so that is one of the things I love, love, love about you embracing not only these parts of yourself, but then sharing it with others and kind of being a guide to them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yes.
love
And I
it.
really think the way you showed up in that space also gave people permission to be themselves in their chapters, right? Like it's been like one of my goals to become a writer. And I think that there's always this fear, right? And so, yes, it's so exciting to become like to have this be my first experience because at no point in this journey did I feel like you tried to stifle the point of view, right? It felt like you were really supportive of that. And so immediately it felt like, oh, this is the space for me to be in because we're not trying to hide that, right? Like that's not my brand. I'm very much like embody who you are. I curse, I say the thing, I say the truth, regardless of how uncomfortable it feels for people. And so it is so important to have a book that really felt like it encompassed that and allow everyone to just be themselves because then yeah, everyone gets to have that permission from reading this book. And I also feel like this book is going to have a ripple effect. Like I was thinking, oh, it's going to change the lives of people who read it. But I think it's more than that, right? I think even the people who don't read it, but they're in the orbit of people who have, they'll start seeing things differently too,
Yeah.
right? Because if we're reading it and we're talking about it, the people in your ecosystem are going to be like, wait, you could do what? Like teach me these things. And so it's a movement and it's amazing.
Thank you for saying that. I got chills. It's totally a movement.
Yes.
It is
Yes.
totally a movement. And that was part of the intention, spoken or
Yeah.
unspoken,
Mhm.
is that I wanted to create an underground movement for change.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
thank you for that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm just so excited. I'm in an interesting space because it's like, wow, we've put so much heart and soul and time into creating this work. And
Mhm.
we've been able to really indulge in all the juiciness kind of behind the
Yeah.
scenes. And we've just been kind of teasing everybody else like, hey, this is
Yeah.
coming. But I don't think they fucking understand.
Woo! They
Okay.
don't know. They don't know.
So it's like
No.
to know that it is now available for the public. You can go to Amazon.
Yes.
You can go to patrinawisdom.com/abundance. You can grab that book right now on Barnes and Noble, on Goodreads, your choice. Go anywhere that books are sold and grab the Anatomy of Abundance book. But better yet, even more so than just the book itself, we do, like you said, want to continue the conversation. So read the book, do the exercises, use the tools, change your life, and then gift the book. Gift 10 books to friends and family and coworkers and people that you believe will get value from this book. That's how we're going to create a movement. That's how we're going to change lives, but more importantly, that's how we're going to change the world.
Yes.
So I am just super grateful. I would love any final thoughts that you'd like to share before we wrap up today.
Oh, I mean, I just really love this mission and I feel so passionate about truth, right? And there is so much truth in this book, right? There are so many points of views that really one person can't cover in a book, right? When it doesn't matter, like, and I love reading self-help books. I love reading all the things, but they're always going to come from one perspective, even when they share different quotes, different things. Like to have so many collaborators that are a part of this, it's powerful. It is powerful to go, oh, we learned this thing, we learned that. Like it's incredible. And so, even if just one chapter speaks to you, like pick up the damn book because there's 14
Right.
people, someone's going to speak to you and in some way, shape, or form, it's going to change your life.
Yep. And all it takes is a seed to be planted. So this
Correct.
book can plant the seed and then you
Hmm.
go water it. And you don't
Hmm.
have to dive into all of the chapters, all of the
Hmm.
steps. The one that resonates most with you first,
Hmm.
ask yourself, what is my next right step for me
Yes.
to work on this piece, right?
Hmm.
And just chip away at it one chapter, one topic, one step at a
Yes.
time. That's how the transformation is going to happen. So
Correct.
I just feel so blessed. This time next year, we're going to be celebrating like so much, even more than, that what we are now. And
Yes.
I just feel like there's so much more to come in regard to the community we've created with the authors and the readers and just everyone who experiences us or this book. So again, thank you so much for sharing today. Learn more about Sunny at
Hit me up on Instagram. Slide into those DMs. I am at I am Sunny De Leon. That's Facebook, Instagram, and yeah, reach out. I want to hear from folks.
Perfect. So go buy the book. Go
Yes,
buy the
get
book.
it. Get you
Anatomy
this.
of Abundance, a conscious guide to creating prosperity in all aspects of life on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Goodreads, or you can go directly to my website, patrinawisdom.com/abundance. And we will see you on the other side. Message us, share reviews, tell us how much you love the book. And we'll see you a little bit later. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great
Bye.
day.